see, part two, I have storage problems, of course. Not of course, like, anybody, like it's normal. It's just an ongoing issue for me. Oops, I'm losing my head. Oh my god, my bangs are I look terrible, so I'm a mess right now. So anyways, back to this is part two because it cut off. I was talking about my house, that I am being threatened with. Anyways, husband went to jail, to prison. Yeah, I married a winner. Anyways, he went to prison. While his time in prison, I was left with our 4 children. Well, 3 were his. 1 I had before him. So I was working 3 jobs. Oh my god, I was working over 60 hours a week, making car payments to an Astrovan. Car payments were horrendous, like over $400, plus the rent and all that stuff, handling my kids. My mom got a house in Arizona, the reservation. She moved, leaving me when I was a stay-at-home mom. And my husband, although he was a criminal, he was a good provider. Then having to go from that to, everything falling on me, and having to take care of him, which, God, I did. And the visits, everything. But anyways, I moved into her house when she left out. And that's where I took over. She handed the house over to me. I had to take care of the property tax, pay the mortgage, but I paid it off. Yes. All on my own. And the house was never put into my name. My mom suggested it, and I totally agreed, because my ex-husband would, without a doubt, which he's still trying to do, is to take the house from me, because I was living with an abusive person. He was physically abusive and mentally, psychologically, in every way, financially, every possible way, for 22 years. And I finally he got out of prison eventually. He was gone for over 3 years, but that's beside the point. So my house, yes. By not having it put under my name and avoid taxes and all that funny stuff, it was just a verbal agreement between me and my mom, which she reneged on. My son passed away in 21, in April of 2021. He was only 23. He had 3 surviving sons. And my house is very important to me because for my grandsons, I have 5 children, but my grandsons don't have their dad, so a house is very, important to raise the boys in, for the financial comfort, stability, all of that stuff. But a month and a half after my son died, or actually, when my son died, my mom, after his funeral, I come home to a guy saying he bought my house. My mom had sold my house from underneath me, right when my son died. And she sold it for under the cost of what the house is worth. My dad influenced her, which they are divorced since I was 12. And I took that to court, and I fought that. And I had a less pendants put on the house, and it saved the buyer was able to back out, I'm assuming, because it was already going into escrow. And that counsel to sell that house, I had to, the attorney I hired was my divorce attorney. He was very friendly, very too friendly with me. But he was there when I needed him, because I was getting harassed and terrorized by my ex-husband, who I was divorcing at the time. Okay, I won that one, but then a month and a half later, while dealing with that fiasco mess, my son's fiance, my daughter-in-law, she lived with me for over 8 years. I loved her like a daughter. She died in a fatal car accident with their baby, my Ragnar, and he was only 5 months old. The 2 boys survived the accident, the 2 older boys, but the mother, whom She was in a lot of pain. My son was everything to her. She loved him as much as I loved him, but in a different way, of course. She died. We lost her and the baby. She didn't have the boys buckled in their car seats, so the state made my boys ward of the state. Right as they're coming out of Loma Linda Hospital, the pediatric ICPU unit, just the kids, in ICU, internal care unit. My grandsons, they lost their dad. They were with them when he passed. Then they lost their mother. They were with her in a car accident when she passed, and their brother. And the state was threatening to take them as they're being released from the hospital. And mind you, my grandson was in a wheelchair from the accident. The boys, between them, they had broken ribs. They had to have surgery done. One of my grandsons, a tooth came out and was lodged into his tongue. He had to have it surgically removed. They had a lot of internal injuries. It was a horrific accident. It was horrific. Broken arms. It was horrific. And there was a lot of work and care on their road to healing and recovery, and not even mentioning, the personal loss of losing their parents who loved them so much. The boys were staying at my daughter's house with my daughter because she had 3 kids. She has my 3 grandbabies, and all of my grandkids lived with me. So all my kids lived with me, and so they were all growing up together. So that seemed best. My daughter was living in an apartment at the time, and there's a reason why she had to move out. It was because of my ex-husband. He created a lot of issues that affected me and my kids after I kicked him out. But anyways, beside the point. My daughter went. They were living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and she was getting money from the foster care. When that money finally did come in, because it took a while for it to go through, she and her husband got a 2-bedroom, beautiful, huge house. The boys would have their own rooms, and it was perfect. They got it on December 15th, 2021, the same year of all the parent, I lost my son, my baby. On December 17th, which happened to be my middle daughter's birthday, Isabella, the state came and removed the boys from her because she got approved from the social worker on our case that she could go out of state, take the